Hello, welcome to another video. And today, I was so close to not doing a video at all. I was so close to not even doing my artwork today as well because there was a lot of frustration this morning. Lots of frustration. Ugh. I was working on varnishing two of the previous paintings I've done. And for some reason, they're having a lot of trouble drying. And I started picking up some of the painting when I was varnishing it. And, I don't paint with solvents, but I cannot find any varnish that doesn't have some kind of solvent in it. So I usually do that in the garage with the garage door open, usually when I can, but it's a big space and it smells really terrible and I don't like the varnish. But it's basically, imagine a painting that's wet and then you just rub solvent all over it. And that's what happened with one of my paintings. Didn't completely just erase the whole thing or part of it, but did move a lot of the paint around. And that's really frustrating because they have been drying for weeks now. And when putting a retouch of varnish on these paintings, I've let them dry for as little as 7 days and they've been fine. One of the paintings, for some reason, the paint was coming all the way off from the gesso. I'm going to have to look back at what I did because I recorded all of them, what I did on those paintings. And when I figure that out, I will make a video of it so that you guys don't have the same issue. Hopefully, that's going to be a learning experience, but a very frustrating learning experience. But let's talk about what I'm doing right now. The painting that I was working on yesterday, the past 2 days, I did I redid the drawing of it. And because there's a couple layers of paint on there, I want that to dry for a couple days so those layers of paint start getting drier than anything I put on top of it. I'm really wary right now of everything I'm doing because I had those issues this morning with a couple paintings. So I'm going to double check, refine my process, make sure that everything is going well. So while that's drying, I started a new painting, and I'm in this mode right now, and I've done this many times before, where I really don't care about subject matter. You could look back at my website and see that for a couple months straight at the beginning of 2025, end of 24, and beginning of 25, I was just going through my cell phone and I would go into Google Photos and just pick out random selfie photos of me and my wife, that we would take and paint those. And it really didn't matter what it was. It could be anything. Here you go. It could be a picture of this guy, right? We did an archery range shooting thing, and this guy has won a bunch of Olympic medals for archery. Pretty amazing that he was showing us some stuff. Some friends graduating, all kinds of stuff. And, I didn't really care about what the subject was or what I was painting from. It was just important that I had something and that I just went for it. Okay, that I was just painting. I had a class, one of my classes that I have every Thursday is painting the portrait in oil. And the first thing that I started the class out with is I asked a question: what is the most important thing for artwork? Any kind of artwork, not just painting, but any kind of artwork. What is the most important thing you have to know? Or, well, not have to know. And the most important thing is doing it. Actually getting to the easel, getting to the kiln or the wheel to throw the pottery, getting to putting the jewelry together, I don't know, the landscape, whatever, just doing it. Showing up every day and doing it. That's the most important thing. And a lot of times we let things like, I don't know what to paint, get in the way, or I don't feel like painting. We let that get in the way a lot. And I tend to remove that a lot of times. I've done that so many times over the years that I've been an artist, where I just don't want to think about subject matter. I don't care. To a point. I mean, we have I have a million images of reference images that I've purchased over the years, probably way too much. I've purchased way too much of those things. Just beautiful photography of figures, because that's what I love. And I have this huge bank of images that I can just go through and I can pick from. And normally I'm flipping through them, you know, I just flip, 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 and then, oh, this one. There's some kind of spark to it. I don't really get deep into why. Why am I sparked about that image? What is interesting about it? I just put it aside and say, yeah, that might make a good painting. And then I add it to another folder of, you know, things to paint. And then eventually I'll come back and I'll go through them. And so this is one of those photos here. I think you can see. Something about the pose I really liked, and especially all this fabric here. So I cropped it down. I pushed her face right up against the left side. I love this arc. I love the light. Yeah, that's it. That's all, you know, I don't have to have more connection to it than that. And so I decided, you know, heck, I'm just going to draw it out. Didn't take me very long to draw it out, maybe 17 minutes to get this drawn out. And I think I'm pretty accurate with maybe that ear is, oh my goodness, that ear is way too big, I think. Now that I look at it, I can always correct when I'm painting. There you go. That's better. Yeah, so subject. Didn't really care about it, just started on this one, and I'm just gonna go for it. The one thing that I do want to do, and that's why I have this value scale here, 0 to 10. This is ivory black, this is titanium white, and then I did, you know, this is on a piece of cardboard of all things, right? Super expensive. I mean, we all get like Amazon boxes and things like that, you know, might as well use part of them for something. And I've numbered them 0 to 10. You can do this really easily. If you ever want to make a value range from 0 to 10, just put black down, white down, and then make number 5 first and do the comparison on your palette. Does this look like it's perfectly in between both of them? Sure, yeah. And then do, let me see, you know, 3 or 2, and then 1 and 4, or you can do a progression like a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit, and then go all the way down that way. But it's just easy. You just mix paint with a palette knife, the white and black together, make your value range, and you're good. So why do I have this here, Chris? Well, I've been enjoying painting in a lighter key. The last 2 paintings I did were in a lighter key, and the one I'm working on previously called Hold, that is drying right now, is a lighter key. But this image here is high contrast, so there's a lot of darkness everywhere. In order to combat that and work more into a lighter key, I'm going to compress my value range with this image. It's pretty, I'm not going to say simple to do. The idea is simple, but it's not easy. What I'm going to do is, let's say I compress my value range between 9 and let's say 4, maybe 3. It's not compressed a lot. I still, you know, I'm only cutting out 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and then I'm going to leave 10. Maybe I'll go up to 10. So 9 to 4. Okay. So 4 would be my darkest dark. Okay. that's as dark as I can get. So I would make up, you know, whatever colors I need. And you can kind of see on this value range, I have these little colored tick marks here. This is from previous paintings I was doing, and I would mix up some colors and then see if it matches that value range. Okay. And I just mark on it. Okay. Not a big deal. Because I can make another one of these on cardboard. You know, don't treat it like it's the only one you'll ever make. You'll make 50 of these throughout your lifetime, at least, right? So we're going to compress 4 to 9, and number 4 is going to be my darkest, number 9 is going to be my lightest. And it's pretty easy to see where those would be placed because actually they're right next to each other. So the darkest dark I can see in this image is going to be the hair right here, and the lightest light is going to be this highlight on the shoulder. Maybe that's a little bit darker than the lightest light, maybe on the top of the hair as well, tip of the nose, maybe this little bit, but I'll probably get rid of that little bit and centralize the focus up here. So our number 4 is going to go here, and number 9 is going to go there. And basically you play a game. You say, every color that I mix up here on my palette will not be darker than 4 and will not be lighter than 9. And it's pretty easy on 9. You just make sure that titanium white has a little something in it and you'll be at number 9. But the 4 is going to be difficult. I could even remove the Payne's Gray from my palette if I wanted to, or mix some white into it so it's already a gray, or something like that. But, you know, what is the value of my burnt sienna? That may be right at 4. Cadmium red, it's way up here in 7 and 8, and then so is my yellow ochre is way up here in 7 and 8 as well, 6, 7, and 8. And then my titanium white will be there. But every mixture I make, I have to make sure that it doesn't get darker than 4. So when I see something black, this hair, I know that that's 4. And then everything is relative from that, okay? So relative comparatively. So the hair is going to be lighter, so the face needs to be lighter as well. Because if I did the face, like right here, the same value that is in the photo, it would match the hair and they would blend in. So that needs to be lighter. Okay, then it shows. So you go through and you, after you establish your darkest dark and your lightest light, at least this is how I do it, I look at all these other values as I'm mixing them up and I bump it up just a little bit, make it a little bit lighter. So even though I see it and I can reproduce it as I see it, I have to consciously say, okay, that's exactly how I see it. Let me bump up the light on it a little bit more, right? Make it a little bit lighter. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I want this to be a lighter key. Like for example, the background is pretty close to 4, a little bit lighter. So the background will be number 5, right? And I'll work the whole background in number 5. And there's probably 5 and 6 and 7 all in the fabric. There's going to be 5 and 6 here on the core shadow of the shoulder. And then in the reflected light, it gets up to 7, you know, and I'll establish all that. I'll have 9 up here in the highlight of the hair, a 9 on the tip of the nose. The head, or this face, will probably be around 5. Well, here's 4, probably 6 and 7 up in here, right? So really adjusting all of these value ranges so I can bump it up a bunch. What's nice about that is it's a really good training for value because it forces you to look at all of your color mixtures, because this isn't just going to be black and white. I'm not painting it in black and white. I'm painting it in flesh tones. So I have to like test, okay, is this a number 5? So I'll mix up my tone that I want there for the core shadow and the reflected light, and then I'll test it. Oh, it needs to be a 5 or a 6. And there's always going to be some adjustment. It isn't like I'll put it down perfectly. Maybe the 4 and the 9 at the beginning, I'll put those down and leave them. But everything else is going to be where I put it down, I'm going, oh, that's a little bit too light, or that's a bit too dark. Let me mix it differently and then change. But it's a wonderful way to train yourself to see value in color. just by picking out any random image that you're like, yeah, I think I'll paint that, but I'm going to do it in a lower key or a higher key. I'm going to limit by my value range. You can limit in the middle. You could say, 4 to 7. You can severely limit it 4, 5, and 6, and that's it. Then you'd get like a very atmospheric kind of painting, or very, limit to the darks, limit to the lights, and train how you look at value. So that's the plan. That is the plan for this painting. It looks a little bit dark on the camera. Maybe I'll lighten it up a bit. So that's what the drawing looks like right now. Yeah, quick video today. We'll see how this progresses tomorrow. And yes, I would totally work on this a lot longer, but I'm in the middle of putting artwork in 2 new galleries and changing out 2 other galleries. So my life is like super busy now. So I wish that I could finish a painting a day, but that's just not the case right now. It'd be better for the videos so you wouldn't have to watch multiple ones in a row. But there you go. At least you get what I'm thinking about every single time, and you can see the progression, and you can see like the life that's happening here. Okay? That's one thing that I like doing with my YouTube videos is it's reality. I could, like, over a week, put a bunch of recordings together into one and fast forward it and make you feel like, I just fly through these paintings and I'm this awesome artist that has nothing to do but paint all day. But, this is life. And hopefully that common humanity you can relate to, and you can feel better about, not being able to get to your art today for an extended period of time. Which reminds me, have you painted today or drawn today? Maybe you can do a little bit of something. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, do a quick drawing, do a quick painting, work on something that you've already been working on, but make progress. That's the most important. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.